New Jersey, okay? Because but that's where my mind is like, how would the Jersey girls handle this? Y'all see this thing that's out there about New Jersey? RHONJ, RHONJ. Uh, well, the rumor is that before the pause, season 14 came and went, and that they recast, this is the new thing, that they recast RHONJ with all younger people. All younger people. So picture this. Season 13, season 14, we realized we have a problem. Completely recast, found people, recast it, and then decided to put it on pause. Um, so what do we think of that? Do we think that that's true? Because lots of things, um, I think it's true. I honestly think it's true. I really do. So I have thoughts about how this probably works. So we have season 14 and we realize we have a problem. Now, can I just say something? Can I just say something? Like, how is it that I'm trying to think about my words. How is it that you're Teresa or Margaret or anybody, and I think Margaret accepts it, that like, how could you ignore this? Like Andy has said that we're not going to think about this until 2026. Now it comes out that we completely recast this, okay? That we completely recast this and with all younger women, and now it's on pause. How could you be in denial? I truly, from the bottom of my heart, understand the five stages of grief. I get it. But we are laying it out before you. Teresa, it's over. And I don't think she gets it. I don't think she gets it. Now, if she didn't get it in August when the season ended and we said there was going to be a pause, I get it. September, October. But when Andy said the 2026 thing, I'm like, now it's time to just, you gotta face it. But now with this, now I think this is true. And I'll tell you what I think. So whether you're coming back or not, it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't really sound like it. To be completely honest with you, it sounds like they recast it. I can tell you what I think. Okay. This is what this says. When season 14 wrapped, Bravo decided to pursue taking the show in a new direction. They offered a group of new, younger women positions. They offered them positions. Who are these women and how is that not leaked? Although producers allegedly plan to reboot the show like New York or Vanderpump Rules, they eventually second guessed the decision. They opted instead to put the potential new cast and the season 14 cast on pause. They ended up not being sure what direction they wanted to take the show in. So they put the new women on pause as well as the old women, the source explained. As for the state of it, they're still deciding. There's no plans to film anything until at least 2026. This means the old cast could come back. Yeah. I wouldn't count on it. You're not going to get it for like a year. So everyone stop asking. There you go. So to me, it's like they hired a new cast and now they don't want to know what to do. Do you know what I think? I think that because if you look at the timing, they probably decided this months ago. I think that New York has a huge factor in it. I think that New York came back a second season. It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse as the weeks go on. We had a prank that everybody fucking hated. I think that they thought to go in this direction. Then you have Vanderpump Rules, which is going in this direction. And they're like, well, we have two things that are going in this direction. It's not that we can't have a third, but it's less likely that it's going to be accepted if we have a third. And New York is going so poorly, we now don't know what to do. I do believe that they don't know what to do. But if you hired a whole new cast, I wouldn't. I've said this before to Teresa, and I'm saying it to her because from where I'm sitting, Teresa and Jennifer Aiden are having the hardest time accepting this. I'm not picking on anyone. Melissa is doing sprinkle cookies. Margaret, for all her intents and purposes, when she's asked, but she's not, it's different. If you're asked about the future of the show, to me, that is a different set of facts than talking about the past. Now, Teresa has a podcast. I get it, but so does Melissa. And I mean, Melissa's not talking about the past. Teresa, someone sent me a clip or something, some article where Teresa was just talking about her father her father who has passed away at the christening in season 2 or 3, I can't remember which one, that first scene with the Gorgas, and that there's a rumor that her father hit her brother when all that craziness happened. And then Teresa's talking about how she confided in her brother and Melissa when she was going to prison, which now we're in a different past season. And she didn't tell this stuff to Jacqueline. She only told it to her family. And then Jacqueline got mad at her because she wasn't confiding in her. That is different than saying, what do you think about the future of the show? And Melissa saying, or Margaret saying, whatever happens, happens, and it was a good run, and I would love to come back. We are talking in detail about things from season 2, 3, 6. I am sorry, for me, this is reading sad. It's reading depressed. It's reading like you are not. Look, if you live in the future, it's anxiety producing, right? We all have these visions of what's going to happen today and tomorrow. And if you live in the future, it's anxiety producing in the sense that you cannot predict the future. And a lot of the things we worry about don't even happen. To me, if you live in the past, it's depression. That's my honest opinion. If you're living in the past, it causes depression. It does. Live in the present moment. So I just think when I hear Teresa on her podcast, which I don't listen to, people are talking about the father and the brother and the christening and Jacqueline. It's like, man, you aren't hearing the words 2026 and you're not hearing the words. We hired an entirely new cast of younger women to reboot the show, and now we don't know what's going to happen. Well, it doesn't sound like that's likely that you're coming back, and even if it's possible, it's not likely. So I don't know. I just think I understand grief. I understand the 5 stages of grief. This ain't working, girl. You should probably really just, I don't know, like wake up and find something, right? So you know, there you go. I don't know. Now she's also talking about Carolyn Manzo ruined girls trip because she's suing Brandy. And all right, at least that's somewhat current. I don't really agree with that. I mean, if the woman was truly sexually molested, I sure, but at least that's current, right? At least that's current. She's also talking, and this stuff doesn't really bother me because this is current. She's saying that she requests a meeting. She would love to have a meeting with Donald Trump. I think she called him a colleague or a co-star from The Apprentice. I mean, wasn't The Apprentice Donald Trump's show that you were on for one season? Kenya was there, Lisa Rinna, not all at the same time, Brandy. Remember when Brandy used to get TV shows? But I don't know. She said that she would love to talk to him about getting a pardon for Joe and that she spoke to psychics and they see Joe back in the country. Well, if you believe in psychics, go to the psychic source. This isn't a paid ad. You want a paid ad, go to the main feed. But psychic source, I love the psychic source. And not only have I got everyone a first time reading, 35 minutes for $20 with code Velvet. For anyone who's actually already had a reading, don't ask me how I did this because it wasn't easy. You can now have a second reading with 50% bonus. So if you've already had your first reading with code Velvet, you can now have a second reading and it is